definitions that I like, there's a lot of them online, but the study of the relationship between humans and digital era technology, understanding how online and offline worlds interact, and similar to what Tom was talking about, sort of taking a digital approach to anthropology in general. And digital anthropology in consumer research is really online communities, mobile ethnographies, virtual focus groups, social listening to the millions of conversations that are going on online, and really similar to what you were doing. So why use digital anthropology? Well, consumers today are leading digital lives. Now more than ever, we're sharing our experiences online and sort of living these journeys and using mobile tools. I doubt anyone in this room doesn't have a cell phone. I see someone recording this through an iPad right now. There's a lot of technology around us, and how better to understand how people are living their lives than sort of watching those behaviors in a digital space as well as in a real world space. I actually use digital technologies as a way to get closer to people in their natural habitat. So not only can digital anthropology be jumping into digital spaces and following people in virtual worlds or virtual communities or blogs, but it's also sort of creating these sort of platforms to conduct research in. And these are like online community platforms or mobile app platforms and things like that where we can study behavior through that. And really just trying to understand, uncover what people are doing through digital technology, where they're spending their time, how they feel, etc. And it really offers us the capacity to sort of capture experience in the moment. You can't be next to somebody all the time in ethnography. It is very difficult. I'm sure you definitely, it's hard. So what's really cool is it makes it so easy for me to actually be in someone's pocket all the time because we all have mobile phones and I can talk to them at any moment, and all of a sudden I am able to be in an experience with someone in this natural way, but not so obtrusive, and I'm not staring at them and I'm not asking what they're doing at every moment, which can be interesting in certain situations, but sometimes nobody wants to tell you and they don't want to look at you. So this is a great way to capture someone driving to work. Don't crash. Some of the things that, I like to use the word easy because I think it adds a little bit of simplicity and makes things a little bit faster. Like I said, I work in innovation, so I study consumer behavior to make better products, innovate spaces, innovate companies, and we need simplicity and ease and quickness to do that. So digital anthropology is really helpful. This means that I can engage with an audience that lives anywhere in the world. I can talk to someone in Germany, I can talk to someone in Brazil, in the US and UK, all in the same week, maybe even in the same day, instantly, and have those conversations in a way that would have been really difficult for me to do in person. Now those interactions are different, and not to say digital is better than in person, because there's so much beauty that you can get from in-person, face-to-face interaction. It's just a different layer, and in innovation, it's helpful. And one of the cool things that I really like about it is it actually gives people the chance to have thoughtful responses to our sort of research questions, because we can ask them a question, they can step back and think about it or interact with somebody else, and then share with you their thoughts, which is really helpful in certain situations, depending on what kind of topic you're getting at. You don't want, some people aren't able to just respond to you immediately when you're in an ethnography with them. They need time to think about it. So when designing the research project, this is something I keep in mind for certain types of research, like medical research or personal issues and things like that. It's really helpful. And again, sensitive topics. It's really great to study things that are hard for people to talk about in digital space, because they don't have to look at you and they don't have to waste that energy, and they can sort of be in their own space and even share like live mobile video with you, but they're still not looking at you, so it's okay. And they can tell you about how they feel, and that's really helpful. So a little bit about me, where I started. I'm a digital explorer at WhatIf, but I started, I have my master's in online communities from USC, and I basically just studied how people interact in a digital space, similar to a real world space, and how these communities are built, how our behaviors change online, what environments are conducive to creating empathy and interaction, and just studying the differences. I wrote my thesis at the time. I was really interested in, Twitter was a big thing when I was in my master's, and I was like, how is Twitter affecting our relationships with real people? 140 characters, we can't be having real exchanges. So I was like, how does that interact with, like, or how does that affect our relationships? So I talked to all these couples about their relationships together versus how much they talked on Twitter and AIM, and if that had any effect. And I was really into it. And now it's irrelevant, but I'm really interesting. And then after school, after my master's, I trained as an ethnographer in the field for a market research company, and I traveled all around the U.S., sat in people's living rooms, on their couches, smelled their kitchens, opened cabinets, and really got a sense of like what it was like to study all kinds of different people in different places. And I used that in a combination to sort of start exploring in digital research behaviors. And at the market research firm, we launched online communities, we did mobile safaris, and I started to like take what I had learned as a way to understand how to have real, authentic, like human interactions with people in digital spaces that didn't feel obtrusive, and that people wanted to share with you, and the sort of digital walls that you can build, the language that you can use to interact with them. Like sometimes words are so heavy, a lot of times in these spaces, and so thinking about how do you choose a word and a sentence in order to like ask somebody a question about their lives that makes them want to feel open. So I nerded out on that. And today, I work at WhatIf Innovation, an amazing company that I'm absolutely in love with. And what they do, what it does is basically invents new products, new ideas, new businesses, goes into companies and creates new structures. And one of the great things about this company is they're all about sort of the human perspective. How can we make design and products more human? So what does that mean for me is I work in the Impact Lab, and I help them understand people better using digital technology and techniques. And so that we can go to our clients and talk about people that we actually know and we had great conversations with, and they really inspire our work. I have another WhatIfer in the audience and an amazing anthropologist as well, so exciting. And then, so I just talk to you a little bit about how I use it. There's a lot of different techniques. This is just a few, and again, this is a developing industry. These change every day. I couldn't possibly keep track of all the different things that people are doing. People are amazing and coming up with all kinds of cool hacks on ways to sort of study behavior. And as this behavior changes and people start sharing things like photos differently or using our apps differently, amazing people will come up with, and anthropologists will come up with new ideas to sort of capture those learnings. I'll just walk you through a few of these. These are the ones that are sort of my bread and butter. I use them a lot. Online communities, old word, probably not a new thing to a lot of you, but really great for research. An online community is essentially an online platform or space that we recruit people that have something in common, some sort of common theme, into the space and talk to them in a qualitative way over the period of a week. At WhatIf, I usually work in small groups of online communities, so 30 people is kind of a good number for doing sort of in-depth qualitative research, where I feel like I can have an actual exchange and learn something about somebody, and they can have sort of conversations together. And we usually research them over a period of 5 to 10 days or 2 weeks, and sort of develop ideas, dive into their lives, have them share private blogs with us, and then go into public forums, and sort of part of my job is really understanding when to make things private and personal. It's like, when do you open the door, when do you open a window, when do you give someone privacy, and how they're going to share with you, because that actually can affect so much of your results and how authentic they're going to be with you. So we spend a lot of time in the Impact Lab thinking about how to construct a community for, potentially, like, let's say, cancer survivors, and how often, do they want to jump in first day and share with everybody about their experience, or do we want to give them, like, a little personal room where they can talk to me about it and sort of get used to those behaviors, and then go and share with people after they've talked about those kind of things for a while. So we spend a lot of time thinking about that sort of digital architecture and designing discussion guides with language that is conducive to the project outcome. Mobile safaris, like I said, it's like having market research in your pocket. But basically, we have people in online communities that we recruit them basically that have mobile apps, either Android phones or iPhones. They can download an app and we can talk to them in moments throughout the day. This is really amazing for being able to talk to anybody in the world at a time that works for them, or tracking behavior over a period of time, and really gathering lots of photos and videos. You'll be amazed how many people will document photos throughout their day for you, and all of a sudden you have this visual collage of like how they see their world. And so it's a really exciting area. It's an area that I see developing a lot, and the tools are not catching up as fast as we want to research them. So a lot of it is sort of like, how can I creatively like get someone to Vine and Instagram me even though I don't have a research app that does that? So being in digital anthropologists, I think on some level is like, how can you hack and sort of capture this content from them and make these interactions exciting? Mobile safaris are kind of like gamification. And what's exciting about that is, you know, I think market research for some people can get boring for participants. They're so bored and tired of answering your daily question. But you can kind of make it fun and make it assignment, or let them know that they're in a group with other people that are also sharing, that they might be sharing something a little bit more interesting, and how can they compete in it. It's a great way, especially for lots of image capture, for people to actually share a lot of data with you. So, and obviously great for in-store. Social listening, we all know there's a billion conversations online about everything that you could think of right now, and that number is just growing astronomically every year. Social listening platforms for research allow us to go and find out what we didn't even think of that people were talking about. I read about a month ago this article about this firm that was looking into, I think they were studying mothers, and they started finding out on mommy blogs that all these mothers were giving their kids Gatorade as